So figure I'd throw in another one just to try and bulk this out. This is kind of a known issue, this one. Can't really get it to do much, but you can see there is a picture on this one, sort of. It does appear to work. This one shuts off after about 5 minutes, so we already know what the problem with this is likely to be. So it's going to be quick and dirty. Let's unplug it, flip it over, and get on it. That wasn't purposely rude. So I can tell without looking this is a Vestel machine. Those of you who don't know who Vestel are, they're responsible for the vast majority of TVs on the market. So we're going to need a spudger. Mine was over here. There it is. And of course nothing says fun and games like trying to prise a TV apart. So it appears that the answer is basically brute force and ignorance. Not entirely sure. So there are clips back here that seat into the side of the bezel. That's horrible. Oop. But then again, you're not supposed to take these apart. There we go, I called it. It's a Vestel board. We are missing a couple of options, including Wi-Fi, although sometimes Wi-Fi is tucked away somewhere else. And my money is going to be on these caps being the issue. So what we're going to do is pop that board out and check those caps in circuit. I think that might be the best way of doing that, and then decide what we're going to do with them. I realise obviously it is a fairly big assumption, but it's a fairly safe one. We'll check them and replace any we find bad. Most problems with, if I can stop stabbing things, so most problems with TVs of this vintage are going to be caps. This is an older machine. It was manufactured in 2014, if I read that properly, so it's nearly 10 years old. I suppose it's not really that old. It's not an LED, it's going to be a CFCL backlight. I can see that our backlight connector's taken a bit of a bang there. Let's just have a quick look at this board. Fairly standard power supply board. Unknown manufacturer caps. So our most likely culprit is going to be this one up here, which is used to start the power supply up. It all looks good. There's a fair amount of heat around here. So I'm going to go away, I'll test those caps, and I'll come back when I know which ones that need replacing. The other possibility on an old machine like this with a CFCL backlight is it's quite simply the tubes are getting too old. Again, as I said with the Blaupunkt, was it Blaupunkt? I think it was. Replacing the backlights is a nightmare, but doing it on a CFCL machine like this, it's honest, it really isn't worth it. Although I'm reading down here 40260, let's zoom you out, 40260 INX D-LED 36 LED, so this might be an LED backlight, in which case our problem most certainly is going to be this board. Right, I'll bring you back in a second. So I pretty much decided I've given up with this video. Checked the board over, it was fine. TV up, turned it over, powered it up, put my test Pi on there, and it was absolutely fine, but it has actually just gone. And it's the backlight power supply that's gone. I don't think there is any way I can really easily convey this to you. So there's my phone, but there is most definitely text on that screen still. I can see it says please wait. It's just really difficult, and I don't know that you'll be able to see it. So yeah, we do have a backlight problem, so I'm going to flip this over and see what we can do about that. Maybe we can rescue a video out of this one. Who knows? Let's move you out of the way and flip it over. So having got the meter back out and had a poke around again, it looks like we might be in the same boat as the last TV. Now I thought LED backlights were more reliable, but I'm wondering. So we've got 12 volts there, 49 volts there. We have voltage on our backlight caps, if I can find it, there. We have voltage going out to the backlight. It says can't get into the contacts. So we've got 10 volts there, which may or may not be enough. 13 volts there, but no backlight is happening. So yeah, I think this is the same again. This is the backlights that are gone. I'm not sure I really want to tear this TV apart to fix it. So let's have a think about this one. This one looks like the display is all clipped together, and there's actually a lot of space back there, so it might be possible to get in there and see what's going slightly easier than the other one. So I'm going to put that power supply out and just have a quick look at where those various lines come from and what voltages I'd expect there to be on them, and we'll decide where to go next. So bringing it back, it is powered up, the backlight's on, I can see it, and curiously we've got some different voltages. So we had about 40 volts down here, and we're now up to 64. We had 40 volts over here, if I can find them, there we go, and we're at 25, and our voltages on here, which were 12 and 5, are now different as well. So we've got 6 volts ish there, 4 volts ish there. Let me just check that ground is actually a ground. 64 volts there, so that ground might not be a ground. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this in there, because it did die fairly quickly, and I'm going to leave you guys filming and see if this does anything while I drink my coffee. So reviewing that footage, we can see that our voltage dropped off and then the TV shut down. Let's just power back up and see what we get. That is powering back up apparently. Backlight is on, 64 volts. And backlight has gone straight back off. No, it hasn't, it's dimmed off, that's fine. So I'm guessing the electronics behind our backlight are in here. Is it backlight or is it power supply? One of these rails must be PWM from the board, and there should, I would have thought, be a return then. See, that's way higher now. It's knowing quite what's going on. I think we should swap out for a scope. Also, you want to be a little bit wary of that main supply. Just trying to arrange this so you can see it. I think what we'll do is we'll actually bring you over a little. That should do. Let's have a look at what those signals are actually doing. So, as sort of expected, those are indeed PWM signals. Just bring you up a bit. There we go. So we've got PWM there. Why we've got two, I'm not totally sure. Now, my guess is one of those might be coming back from the LED controller itself. Oh! Not sure what happened there. It would be nice to have a reference of what the LEDs are actually doing, but that signal's just changed. It looks like the backlight is fairly brightly illuminated. I'm going to power cycle my signal source, which is a Raspberry Pi. And that's just gone off. So we saw something happening there. Oh, there we go, we're back. That's just dimmed and gone off. And that is indeed staying off, but the monitor is still on. Oh, we're back again. I think we need to take this one completely to bits and see what's going on in there. So I'll move you up and we'll have a look. So, having taken the bezel off, the T-con needs to come off, I believe, because the entire panel is now trying to come out the back. So this machine is only ever going to be used as an electronic sign and that kind of thing, so I'm not too worried about it. But if this were a machine that I was actually concerned about, this is the point where I'd be thinking about going over to the cotton gloves and changing my work surface, because the display is now loose and the potential to damage it is just enormous. Our T-con is along the bottom here, so we've got to get all of this stuff out of the way. Do that by hand. So we're now heading into the territory of how we do an LED replacement. I think we can get the speakers out of the way without a problem. They can go back onto there, just keep them out of the way. I will take this board off as one unit. Our mains comes out. Pop that off to one side. So if we can get the T-con out of the way along with the panel, I can put that somewhere safe, and then we can just dig into the LEDs themselves. I did, oh, just nudged you. I did look to see if there were any dark patches on the screen. I think there may be one or two, so we could have LEDs blown. But obviously, equally, we could have cat problems and other potential issues back here. And to be honest, I've never been into one where the controller is included as part of the backlight. So we've got a simple connector there for the T-con. That's that out. Now, how do we get these little rivets out? Just pull, yep. So my spudger has got like a crowbar end on it, which appears to be made for pulling out these little plastic rivets. And we'll just cut the screening tape out of the way. That looks like we've got our display loose. So I'm going to lift this away. The display should stay behind, and quite frankly, if I drop this now, it's game over. So lift that away from the display. There we go, there's the panel. And this is where you need to plan in advance what you're going to do, because obviously this is insanely fragile. It's got some marks on the back of it. Probably do with gloves for this, but I'm going to lift this off and carefully place that down, and then we can bring back the screen assembly, backlight assembly. Right, so I guess the next question is, how do we get into this? I think it is an array of clips. So let's pop those apart, get into this, and see what we find here. I'm not sure I'm happy about the idea of the drive electronics from the LEDs actually being in the backlight assembly. I'm sure it's probably cheaper and easier in some respects, but it doesn't make servicing any good. But since one of these companies worried about servicing. Obviously, when you reassemble this, it has to be absolutely spotless. Any dust or debris or grime that gets into here will be visible through the screen. Oh, knocked you again. So really, the whole cleanliness next to godliness thing really has to apply if you're planning on ever putting this back together again. I just kicked you again. But believe it or not, there's screws in this. now off. Absolutely do not put anything on top of that glass. So we've got a diffuser. Can you see where I am? This doesn't like the white. So we've got a diffusion layer. We have a Fresnel lens that everyone likes to play with. We have another diffusion layer, which is a much thicker plastic, and then we are into the screen. So it's wired, Kev, so that the current flows like that, and then it goes around that block. So that one, that one, that one are one block. That one, that one, that one are the other block. But the voltage has to be set up very carefully so they're all even. But obviously this one now is either not drawing any current, which means the voltage across these two is a bit higher than it should be. If that's the end of the string, then the voltage to there is wrong. If that's the beginning of the string, the voltage to here is wrong, or up there. And what it's doing is sensing that something's not right, I'm using too much power, I don't really want to cause a fire, so I'm going to shut down. So I'm hoping to catch on the camera when it shuts down. Actually looks like it's just rebooted the telly. Oh hang on, it's got no signal, it would do. I'm not sure I will bother putting this machine back together. So you can see we've got individual LEDs under there, and these are supposed to keep them covered. I'm sure there's a right and a wrong way for these. So let's power that back up again. Find our dead strip, and we'll see if there's anything we can do about it. I think they are bonded to the back. So there it is there. I'm guessing they are going to be glued down. Just try and lift the edge. Doesn't actually seem that they're that firmly down. I'm going to say this TV is now almost certainly reached the point of being sacrificial, so we might as well just dig in here and see what we can do. Maybe I will have a look, see what a strip will cost, although I'm not sure it's worth it. So you can see we've lost all of the little jewels now, so we're not especially worried about it. It's just double-sided. And let's just plug it in again one last time, and I'll mark the bad one. So the Kodak one that doesn't power up, sorry, the Blaupunkt, is going to be the same issue. Right. Arise! So it's this one here. Let me just go get a pen. There we go, so we know which one it is. Probably shouldn't do this, but as I say, we are pretty much dead now anyway, I think. So there we go, whole lot goes. TV doesn't shut down, so yeah, apparently losing an LED is not going to cause a problem. So we've got, this isn't going to show you very clearly, we've got a conductor down here that only goes down as far as this one, and a conductor down here that only goes as far as that one. Can we see how they are wired? So looking at these LED strips, it all looks very, very simple. That'll focus. So you've got one line runs down one side, positive down the middle, and then that's repeated down there, and we're literally going in and out of each LED. So that's how that LED is dead and still playing ball. The LEDs are obviously multi-chip modules. That one is significantly darker than all the others. I don't know if you can see that. I'll probably zoom you down and the focus might behave a bit better. So there is a difference in colour to that, so that one's gone. So what could we do with this? We could override the controller on the backlight. There's obviously current sensing going on, or what's possible is that is going short, but I don't think there's really much point in doing anything with this. I think it is going to be a bit of a pain to repair. Let me just look up these and see what they'll cost. So having had a look, this strip is £15 to replace, and let's just, for giggles, have a look at what a comparable set should go for. I think this is actually a 48, I think we decided. 36 LED. So it looks like you can potentially buy this as well. So we've got options here from £25 all the way up to hundreds of pounds, but the average price is 40 quid. That's 15 quid. It's taken me an hour to get to this stage. It's going to take me probably half an hour to reassemble it. It's probably going to take me another half hour to get all the marks, scuffs and dings and general dust that gets in when you put these back together off the screen, get the screen clear. The TV's then going to get thrown in the storeroom, where it's probably going to stay for a good couple of months, and it's going to come out a couple of times this year and then be put away, at which point the caps will fail or something else. So it's just easier for me to go and buy another one off Facebook Marketplace or somewhere like that. And having spoken to the guys over at the Hobby Museum, where they run a lot of their TVs outside and that, they suffer a similar fate to this. It's often not worth doing much with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bin this. I will take these strips out as carefully as I can and try and avoid popping any more of these little lenses off, which is easier said than done. What I'll probably do is flood it with IPA and then pick it off. And we'll break this down for parts, because we know this is our problem, and everything else is probably good. So maybe we can save another screen with one of these. The other thing to do, to be aware of, is LEDs are generally batch matched. So all of these should, in theory, have come from the same batch. And if you put an LED strip that's newer, older, or not from the same batch, you're going to end up with colour unevenness. Now again, for a display machine, that's not a horrible problem, but you would potentially end up with a different set of LED colours in the middle of the screen, which isn't great. And obviously, if you're watching something with lots of bright colours, you're going to spot that fairly quickly with the middle of your screen being a different colour. So there is our haul. So we'll get that bagged up, put somewhere safe. We've got a big sill pad on the back of that. Same with that. Not overly sure if that cable will ever be of any use, but you never know. And then we'll put those to one side. Not sure what I'm going to do about the screen. They do get smashed, but you've got to have the right screen for it. And obviously I've got to store the thing as well, so maybe we'll put it back here and find some way of protecting it, but my gut feeling is it's probably worth throwing out. I'll give the Fresnel lens to Kevin because he'll have absolutely hours of fun with that. And yeah, that's it. So we did get to the bottom of this one. As I said, the Blaupunkt is almost certainly going to be the same fault. Blaupunkt is a slightly better television. It's possibly worth saving, but not necessarily. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. We've got one more big telly to do, which I'm going to get up here next because I know that is a quick repair. I know exactly what's wrong with it. I'll probably film that, and whether it becomes part of this great big chase through of big tellies or whether it comes out on its own, I don't know. So I'll be back shortly.